So let's take a look at how to use SQL Server Management Studio and how to connect to SQL Server 2019 and how to create a database and perform other CRUD operations. So first thing, let's go to our SQL Server Tools 2018, right? So here you can see we have SQL Server Management Studio 18. It should open and show you the authentication dialog. Now as you can see, this is the authentication dialog that shows server type. Basically you get to access database engine, analysis service, reporting, integration and Azure services, right? So here you see Azure SSIS integration runtime. So currently our intention is to connect to database and do the CRUD operations. So we select database engine. Then we have server name, which is name of my computer, followed by the instance name, which is SQL Server 2019. Then we have authentication type, which is going to use my default system authentication. You can use SQL Server authentication, which is on the basis of your installation password that you used along with your admin account. Then you have option to use Azure Active Directory authentication. Means there are 3 such options that you can select. For our current usage, Windows authentication should suffice, right? After that, click on this connect button and it should connect you to your default instance databases. Now when you click on this particular databases, you will find system databases and databases snapshot. Right here you see all these databases and their respective tables. Right, so when you want to create a new database, you simply right click on database, create new database. Here you have to give it a name. Let's see if I give testDB. If you want, you can have DB in uppercase, which makes it easy to read. Right now you don't have to change any settings which are default, but if you want to, you can change the path for that particular database and its log. Right, similarly you can change its file group, file type, right, and then also the growth by 64 MB, which is set for auto growth, and there is also unlimited max size. Once you select all of this, you can simply click on OK, and that should create a test database. Right, this is how it looks like. Now next thing we are going to do is we are going to create a table, then we will add the data, update the data, delete, and then we will also do some of the operations on this particular database. Now that we have created the database, let's create a table under this. There are 2 ways to do that. You can go to this tables option and then right click new table. Okay, this allows you to simply add the required columns, their data types, whether they allow null or not, and then you can run it. Right, so instead of this, let's go with our regular way of adding the table, which is through query. Right, so let's create a table, create table, then let's name this products. Right, and within that what we'll try to do is we will create product underscore ID, which is going to be integer. Right, then it should have identity of 1:1. Right, then we are going to make this primary key. Then let's also add product name, which is going to be in varchar 50. Right, Then finally we will also add price, which is going to be integer, right? And then let's close the table, right? So what we have done so far is we created a product name products, then we are adding our primary key, which is going to be product ID, the name and price. If you run this, you can see it says commands completed successfully, and we have our table. So let's refresh this, right? And here you see dbo.products. So you learned how to create table within SQL Server Management Studio. Now that we have created table using query, we can also insert data into our table using query. So let's go ahead and insert in our table. So insert into, and then insert into our products, right? So that would be our product underscore name and price, right? Where we have values, okay, that are going to be, let's see, first we want to add product that says we have apple, which is price 10. Then we have, let's say, grapes 20. Then 30, right? Make sure to use comma till you reach the last row, right? So third thing is watermelon, right? And then let's give it a price 25, right? And then finally let's add something like a different product, papaya, then 35 adds value. This is going to be our final value, right? So 1 2 3 4 5, let's add one more to make it 6. So something like, let's say, blueberry, right? And give it 40 value, right? So we have now 6 values that we are going to add into. Now when you hit the execute, you will find that it says 6 rows affected, right? So now if we remove this and type in select, then star from products, right? If we run this, it should show us the result of those 6 entries. So we have managed to insert into our products table and also managed to view the contents of that table. Now that we have inserted data into our table, let's take a look at how to update it. So type in update, then name of your table, which is products, then we set a particular value for, let's say, a product name. As you can see here, we have papaya on the 5th. Let's change that to lychee, right? And after we do that, we add where we can see product underscore ID is 5, right? So within products table, in setting in 5th record, which is papaya, to lychee. Let's execute this, and one row affected. Let's verify our update. So select all from products, and if we execute this, we see our fifth record is now changed. So this was update statement that we use in SQL Server. Okay, now that we have created table, we also inserted some data into it, also updated the data, and also checked how to view all the content from the data. Now what we are going to do is delete one of the rows from this table, and for that you can open a new query, and then here we are going to delete from products where we have condition where product underscore name equals to, let's say, fig, right? And then we are simply going to execute this, right? One row affected. Now we will select the table, all from the table in fact, right? And then select from products and execute this, right? So here it says, sorry, got spelling mistake. Now let's run this, and here you see our seventh column is missing, that has this product name fig in it, right? So you get the idea how to use delete statement and remove the content from your table. Now let's take a look at how to use alter table command, and here you can see we already have 6 rows of data where I wish to use alter table statement for my products table, and here I want to add, let's say, one more column name location, but before that let's use column keyword and then call it location, and it should contain let's see, varchar, right? So 50, yeah, that should be more than enough. Now incorrect syntax because it doesn't require us to add column, and this alone should add location within our table. So let's execute, and as you can see it added, so no need to add that column part. Now let's take a look at the data, right? Let's execute, and here you see our default data says it has null values. Now you can also edit the content for your table using table designer by simply right clicking on existing table, then design. Here you can add all the column names that you want along with their data type, and also set primary key by right clicking on that column, setting primary key. You can delete the column right here, set the relationships, and check constraint along with other properties. So this is for your table designer, and this one, as you can see, is done through query. Now one more thing is getting rid of this particular column. For that we use alter table, then products, then we will try to drop column, sorry, let's have it as column, and let's point location and execute, and here you see that is now deleted. So let's verify this. Now check products, let's execute, and here you see our location column is now gone. So that was our table statement in SQL Server. Okay, now that we have seen most of the commands that are used for creating table, then inserting, updating, and deleting the data from the table, one more query that we can use for removing the table is then table, then table name, right? If I execute this, this table will be removed. Now if I try to run select all from products, it will lead to error, and if we refresh this, you'll find that we don't no longer have a table within. Right, now the thing is, the drop table and then table name command will remove the table within your database.